Why would somebody need to insult a prophet of Allah to make a point to Christians? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome back to the Straight Path podcast. And inshallah, we'll continue Jesus from the Quran and Jesus from the Bible and Jesus also from the Ahmadi perspective. So these were some things, they have some overlap and they have a lot of disagreements on these topics. So we're talking about this. So far we had discussed, sort of like the parameters and a few small things. So one of the main things why I wanted to have this discussion with any Ahmadi, or in particular Khurram Shah, with some very pleasant discussion. The question came up of Ilzami Jawab, allegatory answers. Right? Allegatory answers are something which Ahmadis use a lot. And Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who is their, Baba, who is their big guy, he wrote a lot of these allegatory answers. A lot of times they were not in using good words. So if they were talking about Isa alayhi salam, there's a lot of things associated with it which you would be like, hey, look, that's not good, that's not right. We have a problem with this as Muslims. We're like, hey, look, this isn't cool, this doesn't fly. They try to support why they use these allegatory answers and stuff like that, and a lot of times they're just downright disgusting. One of these allegatory answers they really like to push is that Isa alayhi salam, na'udhu billah, used to drink. And some of them say, hey, this is, a Christian belief and we're just bringing it up. But you actually find it in their books in which Mirza Ghulam Ahmad actually wrote this. And I will share this with you, what Mirza Ghulam Ahmad is saying about Isa alayhi salam. But this is not an allegatory answer. This is something which he writes and they believe, because you will notice what it says after Isa. Iska sabab to ye tha ki Isa alayhi salam शराब पिया करते थे, शायद किसी बीमारी की वजह से या पुरानी आदत की वजह से. He's saying that Isa alayhi salam, na'udhu billah, used to drink, used to consume alcohol. We as Muslims were like, astaghfirullah, Isa alayhi salam. And it says Isa alayhi salam. It doesn't say Isa of the Bible or anything like that. It's mentioning Isa alayhi salam of all viewpoints, that he used to drink sharab due to some bibari or some adat. Come on, man. You're talking about a Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't say that. And so this is when, we were having this discussion and I brought up to Khurram Saab. I was like, sometimes it feels like allegatory answers, Ilzami Jawab, become the beliefs of Qadianis or Ahmadis, as they like to refer to themselves as. He said that, but if you look at some of the Sahaba, that they also used to drink. And this is what he was bringing up. And he brought up the name and he said Uqba. And this was actually wrong. And I'll correct it. I'm not going to try to shame him or anything like that. He said some Shia sources say that Uqba used to drink, but his name was actually Al-Walid bin Uqba. His father was Uqba. It said in some sources that he used to drink. But one of the things is, if a Sahabi commits a wrong act, we try not to bring it up. We understand that the Sahaba were human beings. They made mistakes. They weren't ma'asum like Anbiya, like prophets. But in the case of the Ahmadis, they claim that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was their prophet. We don't claim that about him, and we don't claim that about the Sahaba, that they were perfect. They were hundreds of levels above us, but they still made mistakes. We understand and acknowledge that. You can't compare and say, oh, well, he used to drink and he used to drink, so it should be okay. That's not how it works. I was bringing up the point that for many Ahmadis, Ilzami Jawab or allegatory answers have become a part of their canon or a part of their belief. And Khurram was like, no, that's not true. And one of my brothers came in and he sort of was pushing on that, and then he was removed from the stream. And then a Ahmadi by the name of Zaryab came on and he started questioning me. And he said, hey, you're saying about Isa alayhi salam, drinking and this and that. And that actually wasn't something I brought up. Initially, it was something that Khurram brought up about the allegatory answers in relation to Isa alayhi salam. The Qadianis or the Ahmadis saying it to the Christians that Isa alayhi salam used to drink. This wasn't a point I brought up. I told him, hey man, I did not bring this up. This is not something I wanted to talk about. Khurram told him, hey, look, don't get into this. This isn't something we're trying to get into. So when it comes to our opinion and our viewpoints as Muslims, we don't go low. We go high. We say our Quran says that Isa alayhi salam was not like this. No matter what the Bible says, we're not going to put up with this, and we're not going to believe this, whatever you're saying. We're going to go with the narrative Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us. When it comes to the matters of Maryam alayhi salam, when it comes to the matters of Isa alayhi salam, when it comes to any of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam of Bani Israel, we don't believe what the Christians and the Yahud say, and we don't believe what the Qadianis say. We believe only what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran. And for reference, we may use some of the other sources, but if it says something slanderous about our Anbiya, we don't believe it. I actually had a conversation with a local pastor. When we discussed this, he even said that when our books were being compiled, the Bible, that a lot of things were added which weren't actually there. And we never took them out because we don't know what to take out. So we have to have these discussions with even the biblical scholars, and they'll say the same thing. Mirza Ghulam claims to be the Mahdi, the Messiah, the Prophet, a scholar of the highest order, the second coming of Jesus, the second coming of Krishna. And today I was watching a stream in which they were saying he's this manifestation of Astaghfirullah, the Prophet ﷺ. And I'm like, you guys have to stop. When this Ilzami Jawab conversation was happening, Zaryab comes in, he accuses me of saying this about Isa alayhi salam, bringing this up, and I said, I didn't bring this up. This is something that Ahmadi say, I didn't even bring this up. This is something Khurram brought up. Then he accuses me, and this is what I said to Khurram. I said to Khurram Shah, I said, many Qadianis who I have heard use Ilzami Jawab, and it seems as though it's part of their canon or their concrete beliefs. Zaryab comes on and he says that you said all Qadianis. And I said, no, I didn't say that. I interrupted him. I said, no, I did not say that. He was trying to accuse me of saying that. And then Khurram said this was wrong. He said this. He said something close to that. I was like, no. I didn't say anything close to that. I said many Qadianis whom I've heard on streams, it sounds as though that they're making these Ilzami Jawabs a part of their canon, a part of their belief system. And they're making it concrete. And these guys could not agree to that. And when we read their writings, when we listen to them on their streams, many times it seems as though that is the truth, that they believe what is written as an Ilzami Jawab as a belief. And then Zaryab kept pushing further, and he's like, oh, well, I don't know what Ilzami Jawab is. Tell me what you're talking about. And, sort of, he wasn't saying he doesn't know what an Ilzami Jawab is. He was saying that, prove to me an Ilzami Jawab, which has become part of our canon. And I'm like, look, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not here to debate with you. I'm not debating. I'm just talking with Khurram and having a friendly conversation. And then Zaryab was like, okay, fine, I'll mute myself. Khurram removed him. So I'm like, bro, it's like, I'm not here for a debate. I'm not trying to argue with anybody. None of this. And I didn't even say all Qadianis use Ilzami Jawab as canon. He said that, and he tried to put it on me, tried to put words in my mouth. And this is a typical Qadiani tactic. Khurram did not say that. Khurram did make a mistake and say I said something close to it. I didn't say anything close to it. But overall, Khurram was nice and kind. And if I would have told him, hey, you were wrong, he probably would have said I agree with you. This Ilzami Jawab thing, it just becomes a joke sometimes, because you start reading the writings of Mirza Ghulam and his Khalifas and everybody, and you're like, bro, this stuff doesn't make any sense. Why are you guys insulting Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam? What's up with all of this? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would somebody need to insult a prophet of Allah to make a point to insult sharab, prostitutes, things like this being associated with a prophet of Allah? You're just trying to make inflammatory comments towards the Christians and really trying to piss them off. And we deal with a lot of Christians. We talk with them. You know why they like having conversations with us? Because we talk about Isa alayhi salam from a very respectful place, and we talk about him with reverence. We don't insult him. We don't place accusations against him, because that's not what we do. When they go low, we go high, because this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to kill our enemies' egos with kindness. So when they come at us, we show them so much kindness. We show them we love Isa alayhi salam so much that they can't say anything about that. They can't be like, oh, you don't like him, you don't love him. We love him so much. We love him more than you love him. And we're going to show you from the Quran and the Sunnah how much we love Isa alayhi salam. And inshallah, in the next video, I'll cover some of the final things which were being talked about and some of the disagreements or discussions. One of them was a complaint about how streams are run. But there was an agreement that on both sides, on Sunni streams and on the Ahmadi streams, that there's some things which could, I guess, get improved. But these are independently run streams. I don't have any claim over them. And if somebody brings a complaint to me, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.